I'm the type of guy to make a 15-minute YouTube review video, delete it all, and just start it all from scratch in one single take. Why? Because I love doing this. It's me and the camera. We're gonna flirt hard as fuck right now. So I just watched Victor Crowley. Oh, I love the Hatchet franchise. I remember being 13, seeing it come out, and I was just discovering all these horror websites, and they were like saying how it's like the best thing since Friday the 13th. It pays homage to Nightmare on Elm Street, just all those fantastic slashers. And I'm like, well, that's high freaking standards. Before I get on to my review, big shout out. I'm part of this horror group on Facebook. Awesome group. It's probably the best group I'm in. And I got into a conversation in the comment section to Brian Lomax. And right off the bat, just reading his comment, not knowing who this guy was, I'm like, this guy right here, he knows and loves his horror. And I thought it was so cool. Love talking to him. I think we're in an argument. But you know what? If I could argue with this guy all day, I would love to. It'd be a pleasure. He was a great guy. So Brian Lomax Movie Talk, yeah, after discovering him, I found out he's a YouTuber and all this cool stuff, and he makes fantastic videos. So if you like the horror shit, Brian Lomax Movie Talk is your mother guy. So Victor Crowley came out not too long ago, aka Hatchet 4. The release of it was fantastic. It's Hatchet 4. The trilogy's been over for years. You think it's done. Then they're having a 10th anniversary of the original Hatchet, and director Adam Green surprises everyone like, hey, you guys want to watch some Hatchet? Well, guess what? I made a brand new film and didn't tell any about it. Didn't tell any about it. Yes, I love fucking up on camera for all my two friends to watch. And that's pretty awesome. Like, everyone gave credit to Blair Witch for coming out without any release, or Cloverfield films. This one was criminally underrated when it comes to that. So obviously directed by Adam Green. He is great for the budget he is given with. Stars Perry Shan, who is in all the previous Hatchet films. He is an Easter egg, which this one, it's funny what they do with him, but you know what? They could have gone without him. In my personal opinion, I would have liked to continue Hatchet, maybe bring him in as his previous roles of just some random guy who gets killed the fuck off, but whatever. Kane Hodder, he does something great in horror. Obviously, he's like the guy in horror. He can play a killer with no words and give him so much personality for, yeah. But the real standout for this one is Laura Ortiz. Her character in it, her arc, it's fantastic. I'll get into my spoiler talk later if anyone watches this and gives a shit. But it was entertaining. She was great. Felicia Rose, Sleepaway Camp is one of my all-time favorite. Whiskey Break, horror franchises, it's one of my biggest guilty pleasures. Felicia Rose stars in the first one, and I saw she was credited in this one. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't care what she plays in this, I'm gonna love her role. And you know what, sure enough, I did. You know what, just for how she looks now, the role seemed great. She did fantastic for it. All the power to her. And when I talk about deaths, spoiler alert, she may or may not be killed, hers is gonna stand out. Dave Sheridan was a big star in this film. He was the epitome of B-level for this film. Some of his lines were hilarious. Other ones I felt took away from some major scenes. The opening in it wasn't my favorite in the franchise, but you know what? It's a pretty good start. Freaking hilarious scene. Ended in a... With these B-level horror films, sometimes, especially the Wrong Turn franchise, I try to put myself in the mindset of the character. Watching the deaths, you think, oh, this is cheesy. But you put yourself in the mindset, ground it in reality, it'd be a horrific death. That'd be national news. And a girl in the opening scene hits that right on the dot. I could tell from the trailer it was going to be a little bit more contained, not as big as budget, and yeah, it was obvious. I know most of Hatchet hasn't had a big budget, but this one was just a little bit more noticeable, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, I'm getting winded because I'm a fat son of a bitch. God. Anyway, so not being announced, that was awesome. If you want over-the-top deaths, and funny at the same time, this is the film for you. Me, personally, I would have liked a little bit more death. But one scene that was great, it got meta at one moment. And I mean, I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it, like, oh, this is cheesy. And then this meta scene comes up, I'm like, oh. Great filmmaking right there. Great filmmaking right there. So yeah, Adam Green just makes me really respect the guy. I think if he was given a budget good enough, he could maybe not be Adam Ringard level, but he'd be up there. He could do some good stuff. Frozen was a great budget film for what it was. The IMDb rating when this film first came out was a 7.1. After the wide release, it's dropped down to a 5.8, which is the middle of the Hatchet franchise. And you know what? Because I'm a picky son of a bitch, I'm going to give it a 5.1. Now, spoiler talk. Let's go. Here we go. If anyone's watching, who gives a shit? So basically, the only spoiler talk. Obviously, people are gonna freaking die in it. It's a slasher film. Oh no. So I would have loved to see more kills. That's a big one. There wasn't enough in this one, for my humble opinion. Bloodbath and Beyond is all like, oh, there's so much more Victor Crowley in this film and they humanized him. But to me, it's like, they kind of did, but I wanted more Victor. I wanted so much more of him. I wanted so much more death. But then again, this is better than no Hatchet at all, so I'll freaking take it. And if it leads to a fifth one. So in the opening one, the Snot Girl is what I'm going to refer to her as. It's funny. I'm watching this film. This girl's like ruining a proposal, and she's getting so snotty. It's gross. You're like, oh my gosh, are you serious? But it gets that reaction. Adam Green, shout out to you. And then she gets overall a horrible death. Cheesy on film, but legs cut off, arms cut off, then decapitated. That is horrific in real life. It's brutal. Thinking of it that way. Obviously, it's portrayed for comedy. So that was a standout kill to me. Felicia Rose's character is probably the biggest one. So the face of the Sleepaway Camp franchise has her arm cut off and shoved up her vagina, and through her mouth. So now Kane Hodder, Victor Crowley's probably killed Freddy Krueger. I'm sure he's killed a Michael. I know he killed a Jason, killed Candyman. Sleepaway Camp's now done in that franchise too. So Tiffany Shepard's character, her death was a little bit more emotional. Me, the deaths that matter, that get me the most, more long drawn out ones. Shoot me in the brain, whatever, but strangle me to death, I'm gonna suffer a little bit longer. So Tiffany Shepard, she is pinned in the ground. And at one point they announced she's pregnant. You're like, oh my gosh, you kind of care about this character a little bit more. And she eventually, instead of getting killed by Victor Crowley or anything, she's just pinned and slowly has to drown with pregnant. And you know what? Again, it's not as dramatic in this film, but if you were to give him the budget and just the film crew, it could have been a really emotional death. And that's the one that's going to stick with me the most. A huge thing in this movie that really was incredible is Katie Booth's character at the beginning. She's like the typical nerd, virgin, survivor girl and all that. And ultimately, I backtrack, she has the worst death. The survivor girl has the worst death, first of all. She's one of the first ones to go. She has her face smashed into the mirror, left on the ground as bait for about an hour, and then her face stomped in. The survivor girl is treated like trash and gets stomped on. And that's why Laura Ortiz's character also seems really great, because she seems like the dumb ditz who's going to die right off the bat and ultimately becomes the final girl, which is really good, really refreshing in a horror film. You did not see it coming. Both characters, I love Kitty Booth from the beginning to her end, and then also Laura Ortiz, she's like a girl you don't care about and end up loving. And I hope if they make a Hatchet 5, they give her so much more of a role. She was great. Whatever film she does next, I'll watch again. So that is my final review of Victor Crowley, aka Hatchet 4. What is your favorite of the Hatchet franchise? Let me know in the comment section. I'm not just saying that because you're supposed to put something in the comment section, because I actually want to talk to people down there. It excites me. You guys are, all 5 of you who watch this are awesome. Thank you so much for putting up with me. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Do not forget about my dearest of friends. What is his name? Brian Lomax Movie Talk.